Stick around to the end of the video to see how you can win $300. Thor 4, the 4 Thor, 4 Thor and 7 years ago. I just watched all 4 Thor movies, including the brand new Thor Love and Thunder in a row at AMC starting at 6 a.m. this morning. Here's how it went. I, like any straight man, am obsessed with Chris Hemsworth's physique and comedic timing. So naturally, when I saw a notification pop up on my AMC app called GOAT, Greatest of All Thors, an event only taking place at 3 AMCs across the entire United States, I knew I had to drop the $100 for me and my girlfriend to both go see it. Plus, how could I miss out on this sweet lanyard? Or whatever the fuck this thing is. What is this? It's a lanyard attached to a... I mean, when would I wear this? You know what I mean? Boom! Thor the Dark World, Thor Ragnarok, Thor Love and Thunder, back to back to back to back. Starting at 6 a.m. in Topanga. What's not to love? So, like any typical Thursday, I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning, questioned my entire existence and if it was even worth it to wake up this morning, decided it was, went to the bathroom, brushed my teeth, gave myself a pep talk in front of the mirror, and headed off to the 12th closest AMC in my area. Like a giddy boy before his first day of school, I could not sleep the night before this event. I was just too excited. So I didn't end up going to bed until 4 a.m. That's right. 1 hour of sleep. That's what I'm currently running on. Oh. And if you're looking at my face right now and you're wondering, what is that? What's going on, dude? Are you good? Did you just get back from battle? Well, in a sense, yes. In what has essentially been a 12-hour day filled with nothing but Thor, I now rest easy and look back on a grateful universe. On the car ride over to the AMC, while taking part in my daily listen to Chance the Rapper's album, The Big Day, a thought popped into my head. Why am I doing this? What's the point? It's 5:40 a.m. I still have another 20 minutes to drive, and I've already been driving for 20 minutes. Will this be worth it? Should I turn around and go home? Why am I in cinematic mode all of a sudden? I hate to admit it, but the negativity practically consumed me. But then I saw a glint of something in my rearview mirror. I looked back in my back seat, and what did I see? Mjolnir, looking right back at me. Was I really gonna let only 1 hour of sleep stop me from the best day of my life? Not today, I said. No! Today would be a glorious day. A day filled with laughs, maybe some tears, and hopefully a nap. That fire I had felt the same time I saw that first notification pop up for this event came back, and I put the pedal to the metal, and within no time I was at the Topanga AMC 15 dine-in. I parked where my girlfriend was already waiting for me in her own version of Fat Thor, although as I reminded her throughout the day, she was basically just doing Skinny Thor. But it was the thought that counted. I gave her her own Mjolnir, which she was indeed worthy of, and dressed in my very own makeshift, very low-effort cosplay of Thor Ragnarok, we rode our hammers into glory. Or, you know, the AMC Topanga 15 dine-in. I whipped out our tickets and we were in, with our very own custom lanyard things. Again, I don't really know what these are called. And of course, some pretty sick shirts. Unfortunately, they were all out of extra larges and only had mediums, so... you know, I didn't get one. Just a pro tip for any movie theater that's going to be doing an event like this in the future for a comic book movie. Stock up on the XLs. It's probably going to be your best seller. Trust me. But we weren't going to let that ruin our day, nor the 30-minute delay for the start time. Finally, right around 6:30 a.m., there it was. The title screen for the first Thor. Now, personally, I'm in the minority here. In the past, I've said that I've liked Thor 2 better than Thor 1. Although now seeing them both back to back, all I can say is that I would rather not watch either of them at 6 a.m. Also, I didn't know this was going to be in Dolby, and I tend to not like Dolby. I tend to normally go with IMAX because Dolby is so loud that it actually hurts my ears a little bit. And I don't know if you can hear it in the video, but it was like absurdly loud. Regardless, here it was. The beginning of our day. And as it turns out, Thor wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Now, I should say this, I enjoy every single thing Marvel puts out. So when I say bad, I'm mostly just ranking it against the other Marvel projects. Thor and Thor 2 were always down low for me. It turns out, however, that it's really the end of the first Thor movie that I truly despise. Very run-of-the-mill, very cheesy. I think the big monster thing that they have to fight is just like not cool, not fun. And my biggest gripe with these first two movies, unfortunately, is Natalie Portman's character. Not even Natalie Portman. There's a trap that writers fall into sometimes when they're writing female characters where they make their entire character trait to just be sort of fucking annoying. And I really like Natalie Portman, so I know it's not her. The writing for her character gets progressively worse in the second movie, I found out. But regardless, it was a good time. I enjoyed watching it. I spent the first 40 minutes of this movie almost filming the entire thing, waiting for the title sequence to pop up. I had this idea in my head that for the B-roll for this video, I would get the title sequence of every movie and the ending sequence of every movie. But I guess there's just no title sequence for the first Thor. So once I figured that out, we were coasting for another 10 minutes before the fire alarm started to go off. But 10 minutes after that, we were back on track without another hiccup for the rest of the day. Boom! Here comes Thor 2, shoving it right down your throat. One last funny thing I wanted to mention about the first Thor is that the end credits music is actually just a Foo Fighters song. And it was kind of a trip seeing this movie for the first time in a while because it really makes you realize how much of a formula the MCU has now. Back then, they were just winging it. Now they've got it down pat. They know exactly what to do. And it makes for more consistently good movies. But there is a small charm to these first two just because of how different they are than the movies now. And then we were on to Thor 2, The Dark World. Honestly, these movies are blending together for me a little bit. And once again, it was about 7:38 a.m. when this one started. But something I found a little odd was that Odin's character had essentially been almost completely flipped from the first one. In the first one, he's this wise harbinger for peace. And in this one, he's like pretty condescending towards humans and pretty controlling over what he thinks Thor should be doing. Now, I know it's two different directors, but watching these movies back to back made that transition feel very sudden. I think Thor 1 and 2 are pretty comparable, honestly. I think Thor 2 gets maybe some unnecessary hate. Granted, I do think Natalie Portman's character is a little bit more annoying in this one, but I actually thought that Malekith and the Dark Elves were a little bit more threatening than the Frost Giants of the first movie. And the most interesting part of both of these movies for me by far is definitely the relationship that Loki has with his family. And I also gotta say, I absolutely love the actress that plays the mom of Loki and Thor. It's a shame that she gets killed in this because I really wish I could have seen her in more MCU stories. Up until about halfway through the second movie, it had pretty much just been a breeze. Save for a few bathroom breaks, I was pretty much engaged the entire time. But about halfway through, I started to hit a pretty big wall. It was 9 a.m. I was in an AMC in Topanga, and I had been there for 3.5 hours already. Watching a movie that, as I already stated, I now knew I would never want to watch again at 6 a.m. Things were looking rough. Luckily, my girlfriend and I had our Mjolnirs there to keep us company. Otherwise, I don't know if I could have pushed through. But how dark it is before the dawn. Because as you know, what comes after 1 and 2? 3. And in this case, that's Thor Ragnarok. Now, Thor Ragnarok is potentially my favorite MCU movie. Definitely one of my favorite movies. It's hard to rank because as far as the MCU goes, I would put Endgame and Infinity War above Thor Ragnarok. But when people ask me what my favorite movies are, I don't really think of Endgame and Infinity War, even though I love them so much, but I do always say Thor Ragnarok. I will watch this movie anytime, any day, doesn't matter how recently I've seen it. And in this case, I think my roommate watched it about 2 weeks ago, so I saw like 75% of it. Didn't matter. Breeze. Loved it all the way through. It's a perfect movie in my opinion. I don't have much to say about it. I think the main villain in this movie is amazing. I love how Thor and Loki's relationship progresses. The comedy is obviously top notch. Taika Waititi absolutely revitalized Thor in the eyes of many MCU fans, including myself. He brought the absolute best out in Chris Hemsworth, and in my opinion, all the other actors in this movie as well. Now, to be fair, we also get a little bit of the benefit of having the MCU be a bit more established at this point. So not only do we have Thor through this whole movie, but we also have the Hulk for most of it as well. And not only that, but it fits perfectly in with the rest of the timeline at that point. This movie is a 12 out of 10 breeze. And there it was, the home stretch. The real reason we were all there. Thor, Love and Thunder. After watching the same exact AMC ad play 3 times in a row for some reason, our jaws dropped in amazement as Nicole Kidman came on the screen. We laughed. We cried. These stories meant something because here, they do. Or whatever the fuck she says. Chris Hemsworth himself showed up to thank us personally for being there. What a cool guy. Now, I'm not going to talk too in detail about this movie. If you want to watch me fully discuss Thor Love and Thunder and whether or not I think it's better than Thor Ragnarok, there will be a card that pops up right here. Just click that, baby. And it'll be at the end of the video. However, I'll say this, with a pretty short runtime and me being physically unable to peel my eyes off the screen for even a second, this movie absolutely flew by even though I had already been there for 7 hours. The end credits came on and the house lights did as well. It had all been worth it. My girlfriend and I had officially worked a full-time job today of watching Thor, and we had worked up a bit of an appetite. Before leaving the mall that the theater was in, we got some pizza with our hammers, and we left feeling happy and accomplished. Would I suggest doing this yourself? No. Mostly because you can't, because it already happened, and it was only happening at 3 AMCs in the entire country, so you can't do it, so I'm not going to suggest it to you. But if something like it were to come up again, and you're not a content creator looking to get views, would I suggest doing it then? You're goddamn right I would. Waking up at the ass crack of dawn to head to Topanga to meet my girlfriend, watch 4 Thor movies with people that like the MCU just as much as we do, that were also dressed up and eating popcorn at 7 a.m. Well, it truly was a great feeling. And if you made it this far, I actually ended up spending quite a bit of money on this video. So if you wouldn't mind liking the video and subscribing if you like the content, I would greatly appreciate it. And if not, no worries. You can still hold my hammer anytime. If you did make it this far in the video, comment below how many inches you think Shrek's dick is. Don't use the word dick, just comment how many inches you think it is. And of course, thank you for watching. If you like this, let me know if you want more content like this. This is certainly our most high effort video so far, and we have a lot more ideas for this genre of YouTube video. Thanks for watching. Hey, I'm giving away $300 at the end of this month. That's right, up until July 31st, the first 5 commenters on every video that we get have a chance to win $300. You can also get more than 1 entry by doing it multiple times. So if you're one of the first 5 to comment on the next 10 videos, you get 10 entries. At the end of the month, we'll put everybody into a random generator, and whoever wins gets the $300. So if you're interested, make sure that you're subscribed and that you have notifications turned on. Good luck.